In this demo video, I'm going to be showing you how to do basic SuiteCommerce admin activities and which records you'll commonly need to navigate to and how to work with them. The first record that we need to look at is the domain record. So we're going to go into Commerce, Hosting, Domains, and we're going to just open this in a new tab and see the existing list. In this demo account, there's a couple domains already here, and I'm going to click Edit on an existing one. This is what a domain record looks like. So this is how you connect your domain into NetSuite. You'll have a DNS provider and you'll need to upload the CNAME to the DNS provider. And let me show you how this works with common one like GoDaddy. We're within our DNS settings and our DNS zones in GoDaddy. And you can see what we had to do here was add a CNAME, select AG, which is the subdomain, so ag.suitebuddy.io. And then this is the value that gets generated out of NetSuite. And we normally will set your TTL to half hour, could be an hour or whatever, and then we'll click Save. And that's all you have to do within your DNS settings. Whenever you create your domain name, it'll automatically generate your CNAME alias that you can copy into your DNS settings. And that is what you use to connect them. You'll have to select your website setup record, which we'll go over shortly, and your hosting route, which is typically going to be your live hosting files. I normally will have people select the checkbox for an automatic SSL. Then you don't have to maintain that and create your own certificates. And then use CDN cache is pretty common. And then we have to select all of our touch points. We can manually add each of these here, or we can go and connect the domain to the touch points. Another common area you'll need to navigate to in this hosting section is your hosting files. We're going to control left click in a new window. And this is where those hosting files are at. If you've got a staging domain, you can create all those hosting files for your staging domain, or your live hosting files would be your primary. This is a place you're going to be at when you're adding item images, adding miscellaneous images for commerce categories, and anything you may want to show on the website is commonly going to be within this folder. The next thing I'm going to show you is the website setup record. I'm going to go to Commerce, Websites, Website List. If I hadn't created a website setup record, I'd create new. There's a handful of them already in this demo account. I'm going to click on this specific SuiteCommerce domain and click Edit. It's really important to understand what a website setup record is. There's only one website setup record for each SuiteCommerce license. Even if you have multiple domains on a single SuiteCommerce license, you still need to make sure your website setup record is consistent across all the domains and that the features are how you want it universally. Otherwise, you need to buy additional SuiteCommerce licenses. And because there's an expensive cost to that, it's really important that you understand what are the constants. So as we go through here, there's a ton of information to go through. So I'm just going to talk about some of the easy and common things that people are doing in editing by themselves. One of them is the show cookie consent banner. So you could check that and then show the banner and add a new file. Another thing that's common for some sites is the shared cart, whether contacts share a cart or they each have their own carts. Password protecting the entire site, so not having a single URL page being available unless they log in. This is where you would set as optional for guest checkout. There's things like creating customers as companies instead of individual customer records in NetSuite. That's assigned here as well. A handful of other things as we go through. Field sets are important to show onto your websites. If your field sets aren't correct, and maybe you have too many of them shown here, it can slow down your website. So it's important to have this managed correctly. In your search index, this is where you're going to manipulate your search fields. So in your search bar, what are the fields being used? Is it a specific keyword? Fuzzy match starts with an exact, starts with an exact phrase for this specific field on the item record. Quite a few fields that you can add in here to make your search bar better and pull the direct results you want to. We do have some additional extensions that can toggle to say, all right, on a keyword for part number, I want it to be an exact match, but if I'm using a generic phrase, even if they're not searching for a keyword, I just want it to be a fuzzy match. So there are extensions we can do on top of this to make it better, but this is the native functionality. As you learn more about facets and how to create facets, which are your filters on the website. This is where one of the areas where you're going to configure it at this spot and the SuiteCommerce configuration. So this is saying, all right, I'm going to have, online price. This is the field ID on the item record, or maybe a custom field on the item record that I want to be able to have as an option. So I would add them here. These are different sorting options. So let's say that I wanted to sort by a specific field on the item record. I can select that field here in the internal ID and then the sort order that I would like. And this will show up as an option on the product listing page. So let's go into this. We'll look at a product listing page. And let's go over here, see how it says relevance, price, low to high, high to low. These are your sorting options. Over here on the left, these are all of your facets. So you'll notice that, see how this says cust item underscore company. We go back here on the facet fields. It is cust item underscore company. We can update this label and some of the other elements in the SuiteCommerce configuration, but just getting it to show up correctly, this is the initial spot where you'll add it. Another spot in the website setup record are your emails, your default emails. These do not count towards your marketing email limits in NetSuite, which is around 10,000 a month or 120,000 annually is the common limit. So these don't count towards that. They'll use a standard email template in NetSuite, and these can be edited and manipulated with HTML and FreeMarker. And your project manager can help support you if you want specific customizations. These generally take more time than you would think to edit and create a good email template, but there are some out-of-the-box ones that you can use. There are a handful of things in your settings here on whether you want these to send or not. All we have to do is click send email for order received, and then it'll send an email to the customer when the order's been received. You can designate the from email address for that specific email if you want it to BCC different people at your company maybe, or maybe one person in marketing or your fulfillment team, generic emails, so you can send that. Also upon order approved, order fulfilled, order canceled, and if I didn't want any one of these, I would just uncheck it. Now remember I mentioned that you can only have one website setup record per domain. This is an important setting because let's say you wanted one domain to send an order approved email, but did not want it to send for a different domain. That would mean that if you really wanted that functionality, you would likely need a different SuiteCommerce license because it showed up differently here. Now there are workarounds, but that's just something that you might come into some type of roadblock where we have to make some decisions. Additional emails, gift certificate confirmation, if there's a download available, license code, checkout errors, password recovery, registration confirmation, things like that. And then if you want a default email address. If you plan to set upsell rules and use the upsell manager over in the marketing and upsell section here, you can add additional rules and selections. Images is a common element that you may change, mostly around the file format when you're creating associated images. These are the touch points for the domain. So these are all the domains that I have connected to it. And that's about it for the whole website setup record. Quite a bit of information here. There's some things you just need to ask us about and to ask your consultants and project manager. But this should give you a quick overview of a handful of features just to give you some initial exposure to them. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the configuration record. And we're going to go to Commerce Websites Configuration. This is going to be where you're configuring different information for a specific domain. So we have to select our website setup record, and then we're going to be able to select our domain and click configure. We can copy this configuration over to other domains to make it a little faster, but this is, if you're just creating a new one, it'll be kind of defaulted here. Your specific SuiteCommerce configuration may look a little different. We can create extensions that have special configurable options. Anything in SuiteCommerce can be configurable. It just needs to be developed in order for it to be even more configurable than it may already have those features for. So if there's something that you wish was more configurable, it may take more time for us to make, but it is very possible to do. That way, if you're commonly needing to ask for us to modify or change it, then we can just enable you to change it yourself by making it a configurable option. So within here, there's a couple pieces that I find are pretty common and most important. Within the layout navigation is a pretty common one. So let's go ahead and go to layout navigation. This is where we're going to be setting up our header and all the different navigation options. We can select, should we have the carousel images on the native theme, you can select those images here. If you want to add your URL to your logo, you can add it here. And let's say that you didn't have an image for a specific product. So this could be a default image for you rather than a standard no image found. Let me show you an example of this in my use case. I'm going to go to my SuiteCommerce site, go to Shop All here, and I'm still adding images as I go, and I'm just using this generic image logo rather than an image not available. This is a little prettier than a generic one, and I would recommend switching that out. Under your shopping catalog, one of the most important things in this section is this markup type to JSON LD. If you want to have SEO and good SEO for your product detail pages, you need to have JSON LD selected. There are many other things to configure here too, but make sure that's always selected. Recently viewed items, you can say use cookies for this and it'll show it within the cart. Number of items displayed here. We talked about the website setup record and having different information available on the product listing page as facets. This is where we can actually set the name and title. So I'm going to go into the listing page here, and you'll notice that if I go into, let's see, color, it would say if the item was in this list, it'll show color rather than custom item color. So let's go ahead and find a product page that has color. See, right here. There's items in this product listing page that have the color attribute in it. So instead of showing custom item underscore test, it'll show the actual display name of color instead. And then we can define the behavior. So this is going to show a checkbox rather than a price section like this to drag and drop what the price range is. And those are the different behavior sections in the title format. The product detail pages, should you want additional tabs on your product detail pages, you can configure them here. Under the search section, you can talk about your type ahead functionality. If you're using the search bar on the website, you know how many characters are required in order for type ahead suggestions to show. This is where you'll set your default sorting options on your product listing page right here. And you can set them to be default based on the screen size, because certain sorting options you may want instead of on a desktop instead of on a phone. And you can look at the result display options too. So should you want to list table grid, list table as options. So I'm going to go to the product listing page. And you'll see that I've got these three options here on desktop. On a phone, it's going to switch to two options. And we can go over to this site. You see that only two options. There are quite a few other settings and features to take a look at. We're not going to have time to go over each one of them, and they can be variable based on your extensions. But after you make a selection, you can click save the record, and every time you do a configuration change where you're saving it, it's good to go in here and do a cache invalidation request. We're going to do commerce, content management, cache invalidation request new. We're going to select the domain, move it over to this column, and clear cache for whole domain and submit. The last piece we're going to go into is the extension manager, which you go to Commerce, Extensions, Extension Manager. These are going to be all the themes or extensions for a specific domain that you want to have active. This is a good way to toggle things on and off. Let's say a new extension breaks something unexpectedly. It's very easy to turn that off and go back into Sandbox and do some testing. So let's look at this one right here. I'm going to click Edit, and you'll notice I'm in this Active Themes and Extensions section. It'll list that this is the theme type. Here is the blog that's activated, and that's an extension. It'll have a description of everything. Let's say I've created multiple themes. Then that could show up here too, like this. Or let's say I have lots of extensions. You can see that there's quite a few extensions in here, including some of Anchor Group's ones. And some of the native extensions, but only one of them is really activated for this testing purposes. So all I'd have to do is say, all right, I actually need this cookie consent banner. the edit my account extension by anchor group, the switch login extension. I'm going to click activate. This takes probably like 15 minutes or so to activate. It's going to show a pending status, that it's pending, and then I'm going to refresh the page. And after a few minutes, it'll show it processing and maybe say 1 out of 7 steps in progress. Once it's done, it'll say completed. After you've seen it be completed, go into your cache invalidation tool, click new invalidation request, and do this one more time. Some extensions will make things more configurable, and you'll see, all right, let's say I've created a new extension that's configurable. You may have to come back into your SuiteCommerce configuration and configure that extension if it's the first time you've been activating it. Those are the primary components for a SuiteCommerce admin to start getting familiar with. Obviously, there's a lot more details to go into. This is just a high-level overview to get you some initial exposure on how to manage your SuiteCommerce website.